Good evening and welcome to Anime-Zing Radio here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me in the co-host seat, as always, is our good friend, Mr. Darren Starling. You still there, Darren?
Oh, yeah.
All right. And we want to remind everybody that Anime-Zing Radio is brought to you tonight by Home Circle Media for the latest and greatest in anime gear. Everything from pens, pencils, stationery, and officially licensed art books. Be sure to check out homecirclemedia.com today or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you tonight by Casey Fox. For all of your artwork, photography, and cosplay needs, be sure to check out Casey Fox. That's KAYCIFOXX on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We want to welcome everybody. I know it's a little weird that I don't have a camera up tonight because I am currently in Maryland. Work brought me to Maryland for the first time today, and so I don't have a camera on me. I did have the laptop and microphone, so we're still able to be a part of the show tonight, which we're excited about. Good evening, Mario and John. I hope everybody out there is doing good. Tonight, we're going to be talking about, is there too much anime and anime-related stuff out there? I know, we talk a lot about anime on the show, but a lot of us, especially as we get older, run into the trouble of not being able to keep up with all these shows. And there's many different types of animes out there, something for everybody, as we've always said. But is it just getting too difficult, especially as we get older, to keep up with what's being produced? Obviously, for somebody like me who's never started any of the long-running shows like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, stuff like Dragon Ball, stuff like that, I don't, between working and family life and stuff like that, don't have the time to devote to a 800,000 episode series. And we want to welcome Angela to the show. Here we go.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. So tonight, our topic was, is there too much anime?
The answer is yes.
Oh, yeah, very soon.
And Angela is here. She has gotten home from her D&D night. How'd that go?
Lots of fun. We did, like any good D&D campaign, we lit things on fire. We had spectacular explosions, and then a round of everyone rolling once when we needed to not.
So your typical session.
Exactly, it was great.
But as we were starting off the show here, talking about, it's more difficult now, especially as we're getting older, to keep up with all the shows that are coming out. And there's so many random concepts. I mean, I know on the show we poke fun at each other. Angela makes fun of me and Darren for being isekai trash. We poke fun at her for liking her shonen and mecha. But
basically, you guys pick on me for liking, as you call it, overrated stuff.
But let's be honest, isn't most anime overrated nowadays?
I would argue the opposite. I would argue if it's not one of like the big, one of the top, I'll call it 5 or 6. I'd argue it's not overrated until it's done.
And there are really good shows out there, in all honesty, that don't get the attention they deserve.
I would argue 86 was one of those.
Even Bofuri, I felt, should have been more popular than it was.
That too. I mean, we could also argue Spy Family was extremely overrated, but all three of us enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah. I mean, My Dress Up Darling, I think, could have had more popularity.
That got a lot of hype early on and then kind of dropped off.
Yeah.
And hi, John. How are you doing tonight?
So, as I was telling our wonderful fans out there, no camera tonight because I am currently in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Yay.
So, and I'm going off of about 5 hours of sleep total since yesterday morning.
Well, shit.
And yeah, it was switching to a new train for the next few weeks. I was told to be put on the Sunday schedule, and I did. And it usually gets called at like 11:15 at night. So I thought I wasn't getting the call till 11:15 tonight, and it turned out to be 1:45 in the morning. I didn't get to bed last night till like close to midnight because I fell down a YouTube rabbit hole.
Oh, lovely.
So I worked all day on about 2 hours of sleep, and then got about 3 hours of sleep when I got to the hotel here.
Fun times, fun times.
But we are excited to be here, and like we were saying, and there's so much anime out there that it's so difficult to keep up with.
I mean, it's also the fact that unlike American or even British content, there's not predictable seasons or even course. Like there's like season 1 of a show will happen and it'll be 12 or 24 episodes, and then a year will go by with absolutely nothing, and then we'll see a 12 episode season 2.
And then 15 years will go by, you might get the final season, part 1 of 78.
Oh God. Yeah, no. I was leaving Attack on Titan out of this nonsense. Hi, Ross.
Good evening, Ross. And John Knight says he just got the Jujutsu Kaisen Blu-ray from Barnes & Noble. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to use that as a segue. Stores like Barnes & Noble having sections dedicated to anime and manga, that just goes to show you how mainstream anime and manga have become here in the States, because that didn't exist 10, 15 years ago.
Even going to the mall and Spencer's, Hot Topic having a bunch of anime shirts. Granted, most of them, not all, but most are the mainstream shows. But you know, like you said, 10, 15 years, you had to really search the internet, buy something sketchy off of eBay or something like that to even get anime merch.
Or wait for a convention and hope it wasn't a bootleg.
Yeah. And even conventions, I mean, you know, we were curious if the pandemic was going to kill off a lot of the conventions, because pre-pandemic we talked about, are there too many conventions, because they were popping up all over the place. And it feels like, you know, here we are a couple of years removed from, you know, conventions coming back, and it feels like they're back in full force. Every week I see voice actors posting, I'm going to be at this con or that con, or
I'd have to actually do a deep dive, but I would not be surprised if the number of conventions hasn't changed so much as the smaller ones the smaller ones just never came back, and new smaller ones took their place in the same area, just run by different people.
That's possible. I mean, even like this weekend coming up, or I should say next weekend, is Colossal Con East weekend. My feed is full of, you know, some of our con friends all posting lineups. And
oh yeah, same.
Sadly, it's only an hour and a half for me, but logistically, we don't have the money to go. And John brings up a good point that says, let's not forget that, 3 years ago, voice actors were all in booth, and now a lot of them are able to record from home, which has opened up the door for so many possibilities for the voice actors. There are some studios that still prefer recordings done in studio, but the quality of the voice actors' demos and things like that has greatly improved, because a lot of voice actors were forced early on in the pandemic to not just record their lines, but edit their own stuff. So they started becoming more familiar with the technology to put out a better product. They aren't turn probably helping them to put out better quality auditions for future shows.
Yep.
And of course, we've seen a big boom in voice actors. So many new voice actors that are up and coming. Part of it's because there's so many shows out there, and I think it's great to see so many new people coming up in the industry. Means more potential guests for us in the future and stuff like that. And good evening, Ross and Mario, John. Hello, Sharka. So wonderful that everybody could join us.
Now, what I want to know, I didn't actually look into this, and I probably should have, whether or not English voice actors are affected by the strike.
Not so much.
I mean, it's still gonna be worth paying attention to, but to see if anything changes as a result. But
Because it's flowing like very nicely in topics like
let's see here. I just looked that up, and it said voice actors who are a part of the SAG AFTRA union are affected by the strike. Unions, 160,000 affected members, will be prohibited from all principal on-camera work, including acting, singing, dancing, and stunts, on top of off-camera work such as voice acting and narration.
leftovers.
And that was just based off of the quick search that I did. I believe, I don't remember which voice actor it was, but one of them had put out a thing talking about that doing voiceover work like for video games and anime, because they're already pre-existing shows, are exempt from the strike. It's not creating something brand new. So I believe that they are okay to continue working through that strike.
still interesting.
It is.
Still.
And we may or may not have much of a Darren tonight, because I woke him up, and he is still exhausted, and he's got to work first thing in the morning, even though he was supposed to have tomorrow off. So,
I mean,
Fair enough.
Yeah, but it's just in an old abandoned thing.
but it's it's still kind of a fun topic to throw out there, And don't get me wrong, I love watching the anime stuff, and I'm going to continue to try to keep up as best as I can. I think another part of the problem is we're getting older. We have more responsibilities as adults, and life helps to hinder our time to be able to watch a lot of these shows.
And while there's so much of it readily available on streaming services, those streaming services cost, a lot of them cost money. And yeah, some have free versions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all the shows you want to watch are going to be available.
Here's the thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, we're excuse me. I subscribe to a lot of the streaming sites because it does help support the industry and things of that nature. But there are a lot of people who can't afford to do that, which is why they find pirated sites. We don't promote that. I'd rather help support the industry, but
Agreed. Ross has a question. Question on my mind from something I saw today. What are your honest opinions about shows coming back after 10 years or more for a new season? For example, Kimi no Tonoke season 3 coming out next year.
I'll be honest, and off of a more recent show that had a season 2 with Devil is a Part-Timer, that had a 7-year break between season 1 and season 2. And when season 2 was announced, I was genuinely hyped. But when the product came out, I was highly disappointed. Disappointed to the point I didn't finish season 2 of Devil's a Part-Timer, and I loved season 1. We did a special on it.
I feel like if it's the exact same people working on it, from the writing to the production to the cast, then at best it's going to be fine, but just not hit the same. But in most of those cases, it's probably nowhere near the same people. So you got a show that's a season X of a show that's already existed, and it runs the risk of the original fan base not knowing what the show is, and it comes down to it's probably not going to have the same feel as the earlier seasons.
I think another thing on that too is we were all different people 10 plus years ago when these shows first came out. Mm-hmm. And so at the time, the technology, they were cutting edge, and it was really, really exciting. And then as we got older and saw anime evolve into what it's become, and by saying that, it's the quality of the animation has gotten better, the voice acting has gotten better, the writing has gotten better, some of the stories have gotten better. Not all. But seeing how anime has progressed in that time, when you try to reboot an old series, I mean, even the spin-off Yashahime from Inuyasha, the art style, looked similar to the original Inuyasha style, but you could tell it was different. The difference between, the anime panels as opposed, the hand-drawn panels as opposed to how they do the technology nowadays. And they tried getting a lot of the same voice actors, but obviously that wasn't able to happen with the passing of Moroku's voice actor during the season and stuff of that nature. So many different factors that go into play that it's tough to really say that something that came out 10 plus years ago, or even 5 years ago, if they were to be like, okay, let's do another season, like I don't think if they got together, did another, like a season 3 of Rosario Vampire, that it would hit the same as the first 2 seasons did. No, I'm sure you can think of many examples as well, Ange.
The one that comes to mind actually hasn't happened yet. Like at the end of Yuri on Ice, they basically in the final episode, like the post credits of the end of the credits for the last episode, there was a nod to a season 2. Season 2 hasn't happened yet, and by now I feel like there's. I know it would. I feel like by now it's not gonna hit the same, and it's. And yeah, it'll probably get some attention, but not much, not as much as it would if it had aired shortly after season 1.
Oh, I totally agree. Another, kind of sports-based anime like that could have had a season 2. Granted, the concept was ridiculous, but it had a big enough fan base that they tried to bring the sport to life. I think it was in like Sweden or something like that. But Keijo, I don't think a second season of Keijo would hit the same as the original did. And that was a great show. I enjoyed that.
Continuing the trend of sports anime, I remember that Skate the Infinity is getting a season 2. I think it's winter. I think it might be. It's going to be coming shortly, but it's been so long that it's one of those interesting. We're gonna watch it, but I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna hit the same. And yeah, Ross has a valid point here. So if a new season comes out 10 or more years later, why not just reboot it? It doesn't always work like that.
And what is coming up for fall anime since we are more than 3/4 of the way through the summer anime stuff? I'm going to need to try to find a replace. Well, we got more Spy Family. Season 2 is coming out.
Can't wait for that. A new part 2 of the new Dr. Stone.
Girlfriend Season 2 is coming out. Good. I kind of want to watch it, and I kind of don't, because the whole concept of that was just stupid, but entertaining. Oh, the Saint's Magic Powers Omnipotent Season 2 is coming out. I'll definitely be watching that one. Season 1 was fantastic. Fully Cooley Grunge.
Yep.
People were just standing directly.
Is that another spin-off of the original Fully Cooley?
I believe so.
Oh, here's a show that Darren would love and you would despise just by the title.
Oh, you can.
Which one?
The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You.
Yep. Nope. Another one for you guys. I'm in love with the villainess.
I think Darren was watching that one.
Ride the lava.
Actually, I know we already did. I have to find it because, of course, I didn't write it down. Of course, I didn't write it down. Why did I not do that? Did I remember to actually mark the ones we wanted to watch for fall?
MF Ghost, an auto racing anime.
No, of course not. Of course I didn't. Why would I do that? Why would I do something smart like that? One of the ones we are planning on watching is a girl and her guard dog.
Let's use fire on something while we're surrounded by lava.
That's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Need water.
Okay, two auto racing animes coming out in the fall. We have MF Ghost, and then we have Overtake. That looks like it's a Formula One style car.
Looks it.
Quite terrifying.
Oh, more Toilet Bound Hanako-kun with After School Hanako-kun. That might be fun. I might check that. I probably will watch that.
What the fuck?
Shy? What is this?
I'm in danger.
The characters kind of look interesting. It's from Studio 8-Bit Superpower Shonen.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that probably won't be mine.
Minus Spy Family, the list is basically 3. Our personal watch list. Actually, here's one for you. Pretty Derby Season 3.
I was just going to say I need to watch Season 2, but I may watch Season 3. I just saw that.
Okay, season 3.
And I'm not going to lie. I will probably check out this VR MMO Katsudoki anime just because it seems to fit in the kind of style of shows I like.
Yep.
In fact, reading the synopsis, it kind of makes me feel like it kind of has a recovery of an MMO junkie kind of feel to it by the synopsis I read.
There's a rap battle anime. Hypnosis Mike Division Rap Battle Rhyme Anima Plus.
Oh,
and
good.
that's a season 2. Because if you read the synopsis, it says
Yeah.
second season of Hypnosis. What in the heck? Why? But why?
I didn't know there was a first season.
Proving the point of, is there too much anime?
And here you go. Idol Masters. More Idol Masters for you, Ange.
Have you heard of B Project Netsuretsu Love Call?
I have not.
It's an idol anime, and it's on its 3rd season.
Oh, they have 2 different Idol Masters. There's Shiny Colors, and where was the other one? Idol Masters Million Live.
Yep.
And then I don't know why this has got a 2nd season. I couldn't even watch the first. I don't even think I finished the 1st season, but Rail Romanesque.
Okay.
You know,
It's a visual.
girls who are trains.
It's based on a visual novel, so I'm not surprised.
Like because it had to do with trains, I was like, I'll check it out, and I was like, no, this just does not look very good. Just
All right, where'd it go?
so
Seems stupid sometimes.
there's probably I'll probably be watching 5 or 6 again.
I'll end up playing catch up on previous seasons, and then watching 4. One of them being Spy Family, because Spy Family is amazing.
And Ross says that he is going to be. He says, "I'm giving the noble lady a crashed course in naughtiness anime coming out this fall."
And John says, Zom 100 is on my anime list, but I still focus one anime at a time.
It's good to delay the Zom 100 because it's been delayed God knows how many times for all sorts of different issues.
Heat the pig liver? What? No.
What the hell is that? Darren, do you know this Heat the Pig Liver anime? I don't think he's with us at the moment.
I don't think so either.
And scrolling back through the chats, John Knight says, "Can you believe it's already been a year since they announced that One Punch Man Season 3 is coming?" That was an anime that got a lot of hype, but then nobody talked about it anymore.
One Punch Man, I tried. It was not for me.
Still Burr's favorite anime.
And what is the Heat the Pig Liver anime? What the heck?
There's a Girls in Panzer movie.
Another one?
Panzer means Nazi. No.
Yes, debuting October 6th, allegedly.
Not today. Nazis.
4th film in the 6-part Girls in Panzer film series.
Nazis.
I am so far behind because I've only seen the first movie. I didn't realize that they were coming up to a number 4. That means I need to resubscribe to High Dive once I get some money because funds are tight right now because it was bills week. So I had to pay rent, car payment, all sorts of other stuff.
Digimon Adventure 02, The Beginning, due out at the end of October. I know nothing about this. I don't know if, let's see. I know absolutely nothing about this, if this is a remake or a sequel or what, or both.
Well, up to the last one you saw.
What?
She was asking what Digimon Adventure 2 is. It's like, let's follow up to the last adventure we watched.
I don't think it is. I think it's actually a follow-up.
But
to the
and then Spy
original.
Family's getting a
like,
movie
just
at the
give us something in the
around
90s?
Christmas.
Not original, not the one we got recently.
But
You're coming out in January 2024. You're going to have a second season of Mashal.
you jumped ahead to winter. Yep.
I did.
I can't. I'm looking forward to that. Mashal was fun.
Biscuits.
You know, the title
Also
on this
Magical
grabs
Biscuits.
me. The synopsis makes me question it, but then it's Studio Trigger, so I'll probably, if I remember, watch it anyway.
Which one is that?
Delicious in Dungeon.
I'm seeing how to do damage.
Because
Comedy, fantasy, gourmet.
I haven't seen anything by Trigger I didn't like. But looking at the winter, there's again not a lot that's actually grabbing me, and a lot of season 2 4X. So we'll see. I'm sure by the time
that Delicious in Dungeon might be a show that you and I both watch.
and apparently episode 1 was previewed at a screening at Anime Expo in July. Regular broadcasting will begin January 2024.
And then still to be announced when they're going to come out, because I did jump ahead to the later section because I was like, I know that there's more animes that have been announced.
Konosuba.
Konosuba season 3 will be out in 2024. Still yet to be announced when the second season of Saga of Tanya the Evil will be out.
More that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
More Demon Slayer. My Hero Academia season 7.
More Oshinoko.
More ReZero season 3.
Fire Force season 3. Misfit of Demon Academy. Demon King Academy Part 2.
Fairy Tail fans rejoice! 100-year quest coming soon.
Blue Lock season 2. Hell's Paradise season 2.
Been killing slimes for 300 years season 2. I'm excited about that because season 1 was better than it should have been.
Arifueta season 3.
Datal High 5. Reincarnated as a Sword season 2.
Jobless Reincarnation season 2. Kaiju 8. Or Kaiju number 8.
2 Year Eternity season 3. I know a lot of people have enjoyed that one. I've seen a lot of people talk about that.
Trapped in a Dating Sim season 2. Wait, what?
That's getting. I started that one, and it was very mid. I hate using like modern terminology, but it was very mid.
They're doing a new anime adaptation for Akira. I don't know how I feel about this.
Skate the Infinity. I think you mentioned that earlier about getting a season 2.
I did. Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale season 2.
Oh, season 2 of Banished from the Heroes Party. You need to get back and finish that one.
Yep. Near Part 2, which I still have to finish Part 1, but...
Is this more Spice and Wolf?
Fuck.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okami to
Yeah.
Koryushinu Merchant Meets the Wise Wolf. That is definitely Lawrence and Holo in that picture.
More Naruto. More
I
Boruto.
figured out how to fight the guy,
Good.
but he's still 2 levels above me.
Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. What? Go loser ranger. Wait, what?
Oh my gosh.
Scratch again.
The cafe Terrence season is getting a season 2. That actually wasn't too bad.
Sabakui Bisco is getting a second season, and again, I'm questioning that because season 1 wrapped everything up so nicely that's one of those. What are they going to do with a season 2?
2.5 dimensional seduction.
Blue Exorcist.
I might have to check that out just because it seems weird.
I was reincarnated. What the hell?
Reincarnated as the seventh prince.
So I can take my time perfecting my magical ability. But why?
Well, because too many people are reincarnated as the main protagonist. How about number 7?
More Fooly Cooly shoegaze. What?
Yeah. Studio Nut. Is there a better studio name for a Fully Coolly production than Nut?
I don't know. Just looking at these titles coming up like in the past winter, I'm just like, but why? Bartender is one. It's got a date attached to it as April 2024, and that's one that's been on my radar. Because that was announced a while ago.
Love Live Superstar 3rd season. That's the only Love Live to actually get a 3rd season of Superstar. And I said, I went out on the limb and said that was probably the second best
He's over here with something wanting to kill me.
version of the Love Live franchise. So it doesn't surprise me it's got a 3rd season. It actually had a lot better storyline than the others.
VTuber legend, how I went viral after forgetting to turn off my stream.
Masturbated on stream. Got it.
How much stuff involving the villainous are we going to have?
Okay, here's one that's got the dumbest title, but I will probably watch because I'm me. And and I'm not going to lie, this may be a show that I watch with the same mind frame that I went into Vending Machine.
Which is?
The Weakest Tamer began a journey to pick up trash. So I may be watching this to see how much it sucks and to rag on it and watch it be good. Like freaking Vending Machine has no right being as good as it is.
That sounds like something you would watch.
Yeah. And I don't know why, but Bartender Glass of God looks intriguing to me.
Yeah, that's that. I saw that announced quite a while ago, and that's on my radar.
Like, I don't know why that sounds intriguing, but I am curious. Yeah, the villain thing has really taken off. Apparently, like I know you're asking about villainous level 99, Mr. Villain's Day Off.
Exactly, and there's no NA titled Grim, put out by Studio Wit, and I'm curious.
Yeah, we have no idea when some of these shows are even going to be coming out. Some of them just have a date, like 2024. Some of them don't have a date. They're in the works and they come out whenever they come out.
Yep.
Oh, there's one for you, Angela. Twilight Out of Focus.
Wait, what?
It's a BL anime.
Eh.
Maybe that's one we could try to get Darren to watch.
Dark everything. Come here.
Cherry Magic, 30 Years of Virginity. What?
In the movie section, if you scroll down, you got Yuri on Ice, Haikyuu, Madoka, Overlord movie 3. Bocce the Rock is getting a movie.
I did hear about that.
Sword Art Online is getting another movie. My Hero Academia, Zombieland Saga. What in the heck? Why is everything getting movies now?
I like that.
It's very common.
I like that though. Easier to take in.
That's what you
More Madoka Magica.
Story.
Yep.
Overlord movie 3.
Yep. What happened? But looking at this, just there's such a long list of movies that are due out. Like, what in the heck? This is.
Girl
I
from
feel, like,
Panzer parts 5 and 6.
I feel like this is not normal.
Again, it comes to the point of the topic of tonight's show. Is there too much anime?
Based on how much we've been going through what's coming up, I'm gonna maintain yes.
Stuff that is still in the works, but under the unknown tab includes a My Dress Up Darling sequel, the new Panty and Stocking, Licorice Recoil, I don't know, more Trigun Stampede, a Suicide Squad Isekai. What? Suicide Squad Isekai. More Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. That's one of those weird shows, and I don't know if you've noticed this too. But with Toilet Bound Hanako, you find I've seen merchandise for that at going back to stores that years ago didn't have it. Hot Topic, Spencer's. You can find shirts and merchandise for that show, but nobody really talks about it. And then you go to a convention and you'll see 3 or 4 cosplayers as Nene, the main female character from the show. You'll see a couple of people dressed as Hanako-kun, but nobody talks about it. That's one of those secretly loved shows.
Yup.
And HH says movies attract hype and quick cash. So that's probably why they're getting a lot of movies out there to maybe put a quick movie out, get some good revenue in, and that's going to help fund the next project for that series or something. I don't know. But it is a crazy thing to be and it wasn't all that long ago. I mean, even back when we first started the show, go back 9 years, we didn't have as much access to as much anime as we do now. And at the same time, I don't think they were putting out 50, 60, 70 animes a year at some point, let alone every 3 months like you're seeing now.
Well, this seasonal stuff started quasi recently. It up until a certain point, it was either standalone stuff that got either 12 or 24 episodes, or it was ongoing, a la Bleach, Naruto, One Piece.
Yeah.
No.
And then all of a sudden, everything's broken into seasons. And sometimes
Second dinner.
season 1, parts 1 and 2.
Nth dinner. Nth dinner.
But
And with all this talk of shows getting multiple seasons and things like that, one show that hasn't had, I haven't seen anything recently for the World Witches franchise. Shows like Strike Witches, and I know that there's been a lot of different Strike Witches, multiple seasons movie. You had Brave Witches, and you had Strike Witches, the Idol anime. I forget the title of it, but it was Strike Witches. It was basically, I think that the synopsis said something: what do you do with the witches who aren't good enough for combat? You have them start an idol band.
what? Oh my god.
And that wasn't horrible. And they tied it into the franchise, which I thought was like smart and dumb at the same time. But you haven't really seen much from that, and there's no announcements for anything that's coming out of the Strike Witches or the World Witches franchise. So I'm not sure if there's going to be more spin-offs or stuff down the road, if there's stuff in the works. And I bring it up because that was a series that I really enjoyed. For a while, it was in my top 5. But I think with some of the newer shows that's come out, it's been moved down the list. The Show by Rock franchise, I think, is still number 1 on my list, and I think number 2 on my list would probably have to go to Realist Hero because of how much I really fell in love with that show. Oh, and I was able to find my a couple more of my Nendroids that were hidden in storage number 2. So I got those out on display, including the Realist Hero one of Alicia.
Excellent.
And I do have the figure that was given to you still up on our hutch. At some point, we'll figure out how to get that to you.
Worst case, if you can get into Philly while I'm in Philly during PAX, even if it's just a quick drop off and go.
And and that's another thing that there's so much of is anime merchandise. And Sharka in the chat says she loves collecting Nendroids. I like the Nendroid so much better than the Pops. A, I think they look better. B, I like the fact that you can like change facial expressions and move them around a little bit and stuff. I like the customization of an Nendroid.
Speaking of merch and collectibles, did you see the trash taste thing I mentioned where they went out, they did a figure challenge again?
I have not watched that yet. If you get a chance, send me the link. Because if I'm not able to fall back asleep after the show before I get the call to go back out, or if I'm stuck here, because I was talking with the engineer and he had a trip out here where they were in the hotel for like 40 hours before getting called back out in another train to head back to Allentown.
I believe that was a Trash Taste After Dark. Ross says there's a lot of shows that get announced a few years ago that are
still on the stage to be announced.
Yet studios keep airing new announced stuff instead of focusing on the older announced shows. I think anime needs to slow down and take on the projects that were planned and got left behind. I would not be surprised if a percentage of that is because pandemic.
Yep.
The pandemic caused delays for specific projects. Like, for example, the big one last season that had a ton of delays, and as a result, I never kept up with it, was Nier. The first 2 episodes came out, and then nothing for weeks.
And then also like Zom 100 is running
is
into
having
delays.
a ton of problems right now.
And back on the subject of anime merchandise and stuff. If you don't believe us that there too much anime merchandise, go to a medium to large scale convention and just walk the dealers hall. Not even Artist Alley. Just look at how many vendors there are with wall scrolls, figures, music, the DVDs, shirts, apparel, just everything.
Well, anything you could possibly think to collect. The kitschy knickknack type stuff like keychains and stickers and
And it's even at the point now where it's not uncommon to go to an anime convention and find a whole row of gotcha,
yup.
which you can be proud. When I went with Darren to GalaxyCon, they had a whole gotcha area. I looked to see what they had, but didn't get anything.
At anime, I was also watching a thing at Anime Expo. Uh, Connor and Gart were there with the trash taste booth, and part of the booth was a gotcha thing.
Yep, I remember that. I think that would be a fun con to go to at some point, just for the sake of saying you went. But knowing the sheer scale of that convention, um, I don't think that's anything that I would be able to do within the next few years anyway, especially with my work schedule.
I was going to say money or anxiety.
I think more like once I'm able to get back afloat from the move, because we're still having just moved into the apartment a month and a half ago or so, still trying to get stuff caught up on bills and things of that nature. But I I know that eventually I'll be able to save money and once I have the time, be able to make bigger trips, attend more conventions and stuff.
Honestly, I'd want to, if we did Anime Expo, I'd want to do it as press.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I would love to do like Anime Expo as press. Um, Katsucon is not that far from me now, so that would be another one I'd like to try to get to again as press. We've been there once. We're lucky enough to have press. Um, and for the fans out there who are curious about some of the experiences we had, you can check out on the YouTube channel and see some of the videos and stuff that we got from Katsucon when we went. That was back in 2017. Yeah. So you can go back and see what the world was like back in 2017 with Katsucon. Haven't been able to go back since, but from where I'm living now, I think it's only about 3 or 4 hours, which is a very doable drive. Logistically, if I had the time or got the vacation time, I could make it to any con within like 6 hours. And being in Pennsylvania now, that really opens up a lot of stuff.
We need to decide. We do, and I wish Darren was awake right now. We kind of need to pick a con where all three of us can be at and basically do the 10th anniversary show live in person.
Yeah. Or do a show that's 10th anniversary esque. Like it may not fall. Like with my work schedule, I don't think I'd be able to make Anime Boston next year, which was originally a goal because we wanted to do it there.
Right, and I understand that. But the idea being we pick a convention and we do that. And we do the panel as our anniversary show.
Yeah, I think that's something we can talk about and figure out with Darren when he's more
not
awake.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got. Oh, Ross. I did actually binge over the course of a week. I binged and caught up to My Happy Marriage. So I actually really enjoyed that. I wasn't sure I was gonna, but it like right in the feels. So good.
And I know this is true because she got into a conversation with my wife on our AZR group chat about it. Ross is happy.
Yay! But that was a good pick.
She said, my wife said that I might even enjoy that one.
You might actually. Like I said, it was.
Is that Netflix?
It is. It's Netflix.
That's the only drawback. I'm not a fan of Netflix. But that's personal reasons. Are you hitting on edge with that, Ross? Just joking. Ross is sorry for the joke. I'm happy, but I'm not married.
No, but no, I'm actually looking forward to finishing that. I might wait until the last 3 episodes are out so I can watch them all at once because where episode 9 I watched up through episode 9 and episode 9 left off in such a cliffhangery spot. I'm just like, grr.
Switching gears for a moment to the YouTube side of things, where you were talking about trash taste. Have you seen the new Abroad in Japan video?
If it's the one with him and Natsuki climbing Mount Fuji, I know it exists, but no.
Okay, it is that one.
I haven't watched it yet. I have had actually a very busy social weekend.
Not always a bad thing.
No, not just life. Like I have a friend who's moving from Massachusetts to Hawaii, and a small group dinner, basically what amounts to a going away gathering, was Friday night, and then Saturday night was a different friend's birthday gathering. So yay, all the food and all the social things.
Which just fills your bar up.
But the downside, I haven't. Our watch list is probably tripled in size.
I've actually been good. Here's the weird thing. I work weird hours. I sleep a lot more than I did because I'm only working one job, but I need to make sure I get naps and stuff, never knowing when I'm going to get called half the time. But I've been able to keep up on the anime more than I have in the recent past. So I'm actually for once caught up on all the shows I'm watching, and I think I said there was like 6 of them. Classroom for Heroes, Tenpuru, Unique Skill, Am I the Strongest, Vending Machine, and Saint Cecilia, which I didn't think I was going to start, but has actually been really good.
Ross, Leanne, and I both agree with you on that, on hoping it gets a second season. And Ross also says, coming this fall after 30 years, Power Rangers TV series is coming to an end.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
30 years of Power Rangers TV. God, has it really been going on that long?
I don't know, apparently.
Like Pokemon, I know it's been around forever, it feels like.
Considering, we could ramble about Pokemon, but let's be real, that's Darren's shtick.
We should do it and then tell him he missed another Pokemon special. Man, I wish I could. I don't know if you went back and re-listened to the audio the night when he was like tired and rambling on about random stuff that I told you about, but
Nope. Um, John points out today is Bruce Elliott's birthday. The voice of Edgar in Spy Family, Pixies, or
Pixis and Attack on Titan.
Roberto Iguano Valentina in The Devil is a Part-Timer, and Kaoru Gojo in My Dress Up Darling.
He was
Well,
also in Show by Rock as the manager.
Well, happy
Or
birthday.
no, he wasn't that. I'm sorry. No, he was in that. I'm sorry, that was Sunny Straight. What was the show I was thinking? Oh, Sergeant Frog. He was a narrator in Sergeant Frog, if you want to go back to a classic. And Ross says, did everyone hear about the passing of music star Jimmy Buffett?
Yes,
He
I
is
did.
now forever in 5 o'clock world.
And everybody's wasting away again in Margaritaville.
Pretty much.
So that came up last night, and I have a friend who never heard of Jimmy Buffett, and so I had to actually pull out my phone, open up Spotify, and play Margaritaville, which prompted an entire conversation because someone had never heard Margaritaville.
If you want, like pulling a song, that made me think about last night. My daughter was in the tub, randomly singing "It's Raining Tacos," but she doesn't know all the words. So all we could hear was just "It's raining tacos, it's raining tacos." So I went to the top of the stairs, pulled the video up on my phone, and started playing it. And all I can hear from downstairs is my wife going, "Oh my god, do you really have to play that?" It's just one of those stupid little catchy songs that, like, once you hear it, it just sticks in your head.
Yep.
And God, talking about R. Bruce Elliott and Sergeant Frog. Did you ever watch Sergeant Frog?
Nope.
I'm not gonna lie. I think you would enjoy it just for the nostalgia factor, knowing that it's an older show and the stupidness that is that show. I know that it continued on in Japanese longer than it did in English, but still got like 80 plus episodes in English. And it's a show that even my daughter has enjoyed.
So John in the chat, in honor of what would be Michael Jackson's 65th birthday, what's your favorite Michael Jackson song?
Oh, good God.
I'm going to be honest. I was never a Michael Jackson fan.
I don't know, because I'm kind of with you. Like, his music was okay, but I wasn't like, oh my God, he's the next coming of Elvis or whatever.
Just was never really my thing.
And this is going to sound like a cop out because he wasn't the only musician on this song, but he was, he had a solo part in the song, and it was "We Are the World." So hopefully that counts, but I think that was like my favorite song that he was a part of. Either that one or "It Always Feels Like Somebody's Watching Me."
And then this gets into I wasn't gonna say it, Ross. Ross is in the chat saying he doesn't think I like Sergeant Frog due to ultimately perverse stupidity. I wasn't gonna say it, but
yeah, but she enjoyed Aho Girl.
Enjoyed is a strong word. I finished it.
You said it wasn't bad.
That's not to say that is not.
I
the
will take
same
that as a
I
win.
that is not the same as I enjoyed it.
But I think you would enjoy the stupid humor of Sergeant Frog. Like not so much like some of the there's some perverseness in there, but it's not really horrible.
The stupid humor is actually something I don't like. Generally.
But I just thought it was a fun series, fun, lighthearted. I'd almost say that it's like Ghost Stories esque with some of the jokes they tell in it.
Which I've still never seen.
I mean, Ghost Stories is more perverse than Sergeant Frog is.
My favorite song from Jimmy Buffett is the next question in chat. That one I gotta go with Margaritaville.
I think I'd have to go with the same. That's also one song I've actually sang live in front of people with a live band. And by saying live band, there was a party with my ex-wife worked in a school, and at the end of the school year, all the teachers got together. A couple of them were musicians and brought guitars and stuff, and they were struggling with Margaritaville, so I jumped in and joined.
Ross says 5 o'clock somewhere is his favorite.
Yeah, but that's more Alan Jackson with Jimmy Buffett.
Cheeseburger in Paradise, a close second.
I did not care for that song. I think that was one of those cases of I heard it way too much.
That's fair.
Because I think I've heard that song more than I've heard Margaritaville.
Cheeseburger in Paradise was one that my dad my dad did silly parodies to. So there's that.
I could understand that. And this is a little off topic from anime, but what's your thoughts on newer musicians using parts of older songs in the modern day songs? Like Dua Lipa did the duet with Elton John. You have the song. I just heard it on the radio the other day. It's probably been out for a while because I don't listen to much of today's music.
Are we talking about collabs or are we talking more like sampling?
Sampling. Because there's that one Good Feeling All Right that's to the music of Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Die.
Or like how Kid Rock sampled Sweet Home Alabama.
Now, something like that as well. Like all of it in whole.
I believe you mean Werewolves of London.
Werewolves in London may very well be the original music. I heard Sweet Home Alabama long before I've ever heard Werewolves in London. And then
that's the original tune for All Summer Long.
Yes, and Kid Rock. But there's literally sampling from the background chorus of Sweet Home Alabama in the song.
True. But like I said, Sweet Werewolves of London was the original inspiration, because I think Sweet Home Alabama.
That wouldn't surprise me if Skinner sampled Werewolves in London. And then Kid Rock did it again with American Badass, I believe, is the song that basically sampled Metallica's Sad But True. Ross in the chat says, my thoughts older musicians stop trying to stay young-hearted or fresh in your music and retire. You've had your years of doing your music, but you come back after many years for new music ain't working.
Mm,
In some cases, I will absolutely agree with that, but I conditionally agree with that.
I'd say Metallica's got a new album. Guns N' Roses is actually just came out with a new album.
Metallica had an era where I would argue Metallica is better now than they were at the time of when Saint Anger was released. As far as some of the interesting collabs, some of them work, some of them don't.
So since you're here, Darren, we got some questions from the chat for you.
Oh boy. About to say, how much of the show did I even miss? Because I just rolled over and I'm like, I can't have missed too much.
You
About
missed
an
an
hour.
hour.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
You said hello when I introduced you, and this is the first time that you've talked since.
I got home and you weren't even there.
Wait, what? Oh my god.
You were asleep when I joined in the chat 5 minutes late.
But the questions that came in, music-based questions. What is your favorite Jimmy Buffett song? Brought up since he passed away yesterday.
Let's see. Come Monday and Margaritaville were my two favorites.
And then, what is your favorite Michael Jackson song in honor of what would have been his 65th birthday?
Let's see. Either Thriller or I can't think MJ right now.
And you also missed us going through talking about some of the anime coming out, where the summer anime is basically 2/3 done. We looked ahead a little bit to the fall anime and future animes that are on the docket to come out. Going along with there's too much anime out there, or is there too much anime? And Ross brought up a show that I was curious if you've ever heard of it, Heat the Pig Liver.
Yes, I've already talked about it.
Because
that's the next isekai to poke fun at.
Stemming on this older musicians doing collabs and stuff. Dolly Parton's got a rock album due out at some point.
Yep.
And collabs include Miley Cyrus, Elton John, Melissa Etheridge, Lizzo, Rob Halford and Nikki Sixx, Emmylou Harris and Sheryl Crow.
Oh my God, why?
A version of Let It Be featuring Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, Peter Frampton, and Mick Fleetwood. What the hell?
Wow.
Just a whole lot of collabs. And I knew that one track had already been released. And that's kind of where I was going with this. But you kind of can't go wrong with Dolly Parton. Like, I don't normally like country, but Dolly Parton is just mwah.
She had some good music, I won't lie.
Yeah.
And going back to our conversation earlier about older musicians doing collabs with with younger and newer artists, Ross brought up the example of Elton John doing music with like Dua Lipa that I had brought up, where they took a sample of Rocket Man in that one song.
I mean, one thing I saw on TV at one point, it was a performance. It was Leonard Skinner's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Leonard Skinner and Kid Rock did the induction, and then they on stage together performed Sweet Home Alabama, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know, talking about other unusual collaborations. I know you've seen Baby Metal in concert, but did you see the video when they were touring with, I forget what band it was, but the lead singer of Baby Metal was up, singing "Breaking the Law, Breaking the Law."
I did not see that. Fun fact: I'm actually going to see Baby Metal in concert on the 14th.
I am so jealous. I would love to see them in person because their music is fantastic.
Agreed. This will be number 2 for me.
Now the question is, if you could choose between Baby Metal or Creepy Nuts, who would you want to go see?
That's not one. Creepy Nuts hasn't announced a U.S. tour. The answer is yes. Concerts are kind of my thing.
Oh, I know.
And it basically boils down to if I can afford both and they're not on the same night, the answer is yes.
But if they were both on the same night, you could only go to one. Which one would you choose?
On the grounds that I've already seen Baby Metal, I'd probably choose Creepy Nuts just for that reason alone.
Because that would be a tough one.
That would be, but I've seen Baby Metal already, so it would be a pick the one I haven't already seen. Also, it would depend on openers.
I think my dream concert. Now, I don't foresee this ever happening, but if you could get Fauna, Creepy Nuts, and Baby Metal all in the same show, I would probably drive almost anywhere to see that.
Oh well.
But Baby Metal is currently touring with. Baby Metal is currently touring with Metalocalypse.
Yeah, because my wife had told me about that concert series. She's like, I don't think that you'd like Metalocalypse. I'm like, I don't care. I would go to watch Baby Metal.
Fair. Ross says they would choose Creepy Nuts because the song that was in Call of the Night actually came out in 2013 on an episode of SWAT. Are you alive, Darren, or your allergies killing you?
Yes.
I know the feeling.
All right, Darren, Angela Brooks. Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say that hurricane was a nice relief because it provided us a steady rain that actually knocked some of the dust back down.
Did you get anything more than rain and a little bit of wind?
Nope.
Okay, good.
Nope. Everything south of here, well, pretty much all of North Carolina that got anything aside from toward the beach was a joke.
Oh, good.
But I'll say this: speaking of older musicians, there's a set of oldish musicians that was at Walnut Creek here the other night, or is supposed to be. I think they were here the other night. The Freaks on Parade tour with Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie.
My sister actually went to the show in Virginia for that tour. Rob Zombie, even at his age, puts on a fantastic live show.
Yeah, don't think I would go to that because I didn't care for that music.
Well, if anything, I missed my opportunity to play Cooper there for a while because school let out. And yeah.
Now,
And then the other one that was here the other night, I believe, was uh Stained. Uh, because they got no, they're for September 6th. They were originally supposed to be for a couple of weeks ago, but the weather here was very lightning oriented.
yep,
Oh, it was Disturbed and Breaking Benjamin.
they've gone on tour together before because I've seen that show.
Yeah, one of my customers actually offered tickets to me the night of the show that it was originally supposed to be. I think he said he paid 110 for 2 tickets.
That's actually not bad.
No. If you don't count Anime Boston and Oscar, the last concert that I went to was Evanescence and Lindsey Sterling.
That's right. We were both at that show.
Yeah,
Um,
I was the mean husband that made his wife cry on her birthday because got her ticket to see a band that she's waited 17 years to see. And that was a fantastic concert too.
that was. I will say though, like. I did not like Amy Lee's vocals on Shatter Me. It didn't feel right.
Oh, when she did that with Lindsey Sterling?
Yep.
I like the original better, but I don't think Amy Lee did a bad job.
No, it wasn't bad. It just didn't feel right.
It wasn't the same as the original.
It was too clean as far as vocals go. Ross in the chat says if the idol group A Pink and Iris did a US collab tour, he would go to see that. I enjoy going to concerts.
I would like to go to more. I just don't have never really had the time or the money.
This year with work or with job stuff and travel, I just haven't had the time and money, I suppose, too. Plus, Ticketmaster fees are bloody ridiculous.
And they've actually started to take a monopoly to an extent. They're even getting involved in football. They're the home tickets for the Panthers this year.
And it's like all the problems with Ticketmaster and they own Live Nation, and so it's a whole big to do. And Taylor Swift kind of proved why it's a problem.
Yeah.
And then tickets on the aftermarket sites were 200 and 300% more than what the base ticket price was.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's no need to jack stuff up that high.
Well, I was going to say a lot of concert tickets seem to be on the high end in the first place. Between that and certain sporting events, I would rather just watch it on TV or watch a live stream at that point.
See, being in one of the big market cities for sports, I have just gotten so used to not Bruins and or Red Sox tickets being so ridiculously overpriced.
Patriots.
I've never been to an NFL game.
I've been to quite a few.
I think the only games I've been to are college football, which my dad enjoyed more than professional anyway.
Fair.
I will say, on the college spectrum, I prefer like college basketball to the NBA because at least those kids are playing their hearts out to get to the NBA, so the competition's better. My problem with the NBA is it seems like it's a lot of prima donnas being overpaid for what they do, and then the really good ones turn more to actors and flopping.
To be fair, just about every sport overpays their athletes like ridiculous amounts.
With the exception of hockey, but that's a different discussion for another time.
And in most cases, auto racing.
Bringing this back to music, Ross in the chat says they had a fun time going to the Simple Plan concert, even though Simple Plan was the opener. He didn't stay for The Offspring or Sum 41 because he never listened to those bands.
I would have stayed for The Offspring.
That's a shame. The Offspring and Sum 41 toured together at one point, and I got to go to that show. The Offspring I've seen multiple times. They're fantastic. Sum 41 put on an amazing live show when I saw them back in the day. But that's 90s era punk.
I would have to say one of the best bands I've ever seen live, and kind of sad that I didn't get to see him again before we moved from Massachusetts to New York years ago, was Train. Train put on one of the best concerts I'd seen in a long time when I saw them, like when they were first coming out. And I know I've told you about this before with the old Mix Fest concert from Mix 98.5. But it was like Train, Vertical Horizon. The headliners were Bare Naked Ladies and Duran Duran and Michelle Branch, Tori Amos, Jason Mraz, and I think it was like 5 or 6 other ones.
One of those all-day festivals. And oh my God, that sounds like a mostly amazing lineup.
Oh, Tori Amos was the biggest letdown. I'm not going to lie. She sat there at a piano and covered other people's songs for a half hour. And I was like, that kind of sucks. She didn't even do any of her songs. She covered other people's songs, and they didn't even sound that good.
The last concert I was at was Charlie Daniels and Alabama.
Oh my God, it sounds like an amazing concert. I'm not going to lie. I've seen Charlie Daniels' band twice, and I know he puts on a great show.
Yep. And then Alabama definitely put on a great show.
I believe. Have I been to a concert this year?
I think you've been out of the country too much.
The saddest thing is you might be right about that. I don't think I've been to. I don't think I've been to a concert this year. I think the last concert.
I think you went to a concert. I can't pronounce the name of the band, but I thought earlier this year you went to a concert.
Rammstein was last fall. That was September.
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of, and I thought that was earlier this year.
One OK Rock was also last year because that was AJ's birthday present.
Trash Taste, if you count that as a concert.
Trash Taste.
Which one of them had to sing the national anthem in Boston?
I don't think they did.
That was for us. I want to say it was Garnt.
I don't remember. Ross says the next concert they're going to is Skillet, and I actually really like Skillet, and I never got to see them in concert.
Whoa.
No, I don't think I've done a concert this year. I think Baby Metal is No, I did. No, I did one. I did one concert earlier this year.
I thought so.
Uh, it was Darren Hayes, and it was basically, and that was a good show.
I wish I could go with you to the Baby Metal concert. I'm not going to lie.
There might still be tickets available.
But I know that I don't have. I know I'm 90.
Time and money.
Yeah. I think it's more time right now because I'm more focused on, the OJT stuff and wanting to be able to. I mean, it's going to be like a 6-month process before I can get marked up to conductor, but I want to make sure that I'm learning as much as I can.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to find. Okay, I think that was the one I went to. My first concert was Kenny Chesney.
Oh, he put on a good show too.
That was back in 2007, I want to say.
I saw him at the Barnstable County Fair when his first album had come out. I think he only had like that first big hit had been released. But I heard him do a version of Races On, and I was like, "Oh my God, he is amazing!" Was it Races On or was it?
Heartaches are coming to the inside.
I think it was Races On. Was that that or When You Say Nothing at All? And it was like, "Oh my God, he's fantastic. He's gonna make it big." And I told him that when I got his autograph.
I feel like Uncle Cracker toured with him when I watched him. I don't remember. Or maybe I don't remember.
That wouldn't surprise me because they did have the duet together. So, but
Cracker's toured a few times.
Bringing things back around, since you missed a lot of the early conversation, Darren, what's your opinion about anime and anime-related events and merchandise? Is there too much of it?
Yes and no. Depends on what show and if they're trying to milk a series or not. I mean, granted, there's always going to be plenty of content for everybody. I mean, so long as the vendors and manufacturers can continue to develop and push merchandise, then let them. I mean, a lot of it's limited run anyway. There are very few series that they will constantly make merchandise for long periods of time because it's only going to sell in the heat of the moment in bulk, and then it's going to simmer down and then become hard to find fan favorite collectibles as time goes on.
That's true. And we all know what, some of those mainstream shows that will always have merch for out there. I mean, Angela, you've toured around the world over the last few years and have seen a lot of the same shows and stuff's merchandise in other countries.
Yeah, I mean, and it's although one thing I noticed on display in a shopping mall was it wasn't anime merch, but it was knockoff pretending to be anime clothing. But if you didn't know better, you'd think it was My Hero or basically what looked like it was from Skate the Infinity, but not. But it was all graphic tees and it was designed to look like it was anime merch without the licensing.
And question for Darren that was asked to Angela and myself earlier in the show. What is your opinion on animes that come out with a new season 10 plus years after the original air date?
Depends. It really does. Because some have been great, others have been big disappointments, but it's due to the fact that they waited too long.
Yeah, I mean that's very similar to what Angela and I had said because
I mean, ultimately, I look at it this way. Like, for example, if I were to get a new season of High School DxD for whatever reason, has it been a long time? Yes. But if you can stick it close to the source material, I probably wouldn't care which studio did it. Even if they did change studios last time because of that exact issue. Devil is a part timer, I think would have been a lot more easy and fun to follow if they had released the second part back when they originally aired the series.
yeah.
It probably wouldn't have been as big of a shock bringing a kid on board at the time because everyone was going crazy with the shipping wars.
And Ross
Because
says, for example, Darren, the anime he's bringing up is the anime From Me to You is getting a season 3 in 2024.
from what are you talking about, Kimi no Todoke or whatever? Yeah,
Possibly.
yeah. I thought that was a season 3.
Yeah, that's what he said. It's a season 3.
You said 4.
I said a season 3 in 2024.
Yes. I vaguely remember that series. I never watched it, but I know of it. And yeah, that series, it's been a while.
And Ross says, yes, that's the series he's referring to.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, speaking of which, kind of change the subject. One of my employees, I guess I should say, she's a weeb. Uh, she's got Demon Slayer stickers on her car.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to talking the other day, and she said she's been meaning to watch DxD. I'm like, well, I got the Blu-ray. You want to borrow it? And she actually said yes. I was shocked.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I'm like, you want all 4 seasons, or what do you want? She's like, well, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it, so give me the first 2. So tomorrow, I'm actually going to be lending someone a Blu-ray for the first time in years. It feels
At
so
least
weird,
at
but
least you're getting her to watch a good anime.
yep. She tried she tried to get me to watch some other stuff, and I'm like, seen it, seen it, seen it, seen it.
Do you ever get to that point where people are like, "Oh, have you watched this show?" And it's like, "Yeah, I watched that like 8 years ago." Good God, I'm old.
Yep. Oh, by the way, were you surprised when I sent that clip the other day and Angela said that actually piqued her interest?
Which clip was that?
Oh God,
Baka and Tess,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yuji and
God,
Shoko's date.
it
I haven't
looked
seen
the clip looked interesting. I watched it.
Did you watch the other one I sent? The one with the FFF?
I don't think nope. No, I didn't because I by the time I got that one, I was busy and then forgot to go back to it.
The FFF made that series. I'm sorry. Actually, Doug, do you think that show would fly today with the FFF?
I I'm gonna be dead honest. I haven't seen that show in probably over 10 years, at least. But that being said, I am tempted to go back and rewatch it. To refresh my memory and then see if it would still like hit the same as it did back then. Because I remember it being a good show, I just don't remember that much about it because I've seen so much anime since then. I've easily seen 300 anime since I watched Baka and Test.
Fun fact, completely changing the subject.
Which you're good at.
The live action One Piece on Netflix is currently number one in 84 countries, surpassing the records set by Stranger Things Season 4 and Wednesday.
Even though I haven't been watching it, I'm proud of that because a live action anime finally and actually doing something right from the sound of it. Because I've heard very few people complain about it.
I only had time to watch episode 1. I actually really enjoyed it. If you're going to watch a live action anime adaptation, this is the one to watch.
And normally we steer clear of live action altogether, no matter what the anime. So that's saying something.
I still won't watch it.
That's fair. This is coming from me, and I've watched a fair amount of live action adaptations at this point. I enjoyed Bebop for the most part. I understand I understand people's problems with it. I watched a really bad Japanese live action adaptation of Full Metal Alchemist. 0 out of 10, do not recommend.
I thought you were going to say you watched Dragon Ball Evolution.
Nope. That one I will not, because don't like, just as a franchise, I dislike Dragon Ball.
And in the chat, Darren Ross says you should send her the clip of Hazuki at the school pool. That was a funny scene.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my gosh, I remember that. But
is this show on Crunchyroll?
I don't remember. When I first saw it, it was on Netflix. I'm not gonna lie. I was actually okay with the dub because that was like my 4th anime, so therefore I didn't know what subbed anime was at the time. So the dub was actually pretty decent.
It is on Crunchyroll. They have 3 seasons, 28 episodes.
I think you mean 2 seasons and a handful of specials.
Well, they say 3 seasons, but yeah, Baka and Test season 2, Baka and Test season 2, and then the OVA's 2 episodes.
Yep. But basically, the FFF. Think of a certain group that also has 3 letters, and they just have different colors on, but it's the exact same getup. And they're deadly. In the form of, don't go out on a date in front of them, because they will get jealous, and they will put you on trial, and things will happen.
Oh, for F's sake.
Pretty much.
All right.
The Inquisition is now in session.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Sorry, Monty Python moment.
I shall taunt you a second time. Continuing the Monty Python.
And question for Darren from Ross. Ross says, Darren, question, should we warn Angela of the strip poker of alcohol chocolate episode?
Meh.
Oh, nah. That's minor.
I was going to say, if I remember correctly, that wasn't even that bad.
No, it wasn't. Once you've seen other anime, that's nothing. Oh, and by the way, if you want to learn how to live on a budget, this is definitely the show to watch. The poor kid literally survives on he divides his ramen into small fractions to live off of, even breaking it down into the 30-second, 64ths. I forget how far down he went.
Oh, so so like me this week.
Stop that.
Last I heard, you were doing way better, sir.
I was. It just so happened this week was just a tough week because a lot of bills came out, rent, car payments, stuff like that. So when I last checked the bank account, I had like $3 in there.
Well, to be fair, I had my fair share of stuff too. I had 2 trucks worked on, I had tires put on, and I had my trailer break down on me the other day. And it cost me as much as one of my trucks to fix that, and that was an expense I wasn't counting on.
Yeah, the expense that's part of getting older. That's the expenses creep up on you.
Yep. And then this month I got my taxes, my quarterly taxes, my insurance on my vehicles,
And
and
HH in
on
the
top of
chat
my
says Darren
regular.
30-second 64th is 1/2.
Yes.
So when you're talking about he was breaking it down into 30 seconds and into 64ths,
Yes.
HH took you literally saying 30-second 64th is half.
Yep. And
He's not wrong.
he was going off of hot water and that, and I can't remember if he had seasoning or not. But
that costs extra.
Yes, that's right. Because he was complaining about that. And then his sister. Oh, I forgot about his sister.
I will say, and whether I am giving the Quintuplets anime a second chance.
Okay. I finished season 1. I never started season 2.
So I'm about 4 episodes in, because that's one that my wife and I decided, you know what? At the time it was coming out, it felt very slow, watching it one episode at a time, sometimes forgetting about it, and then eventually never finishing it. We're like, okay, let's give it another chance. Now that it's out, if we can watch multiple episodes, it might feel better than it did. Kind of the way that like Reincarnated as a Slime was better when I had a chance to watch it in bigger chunks as opposed to one episode, watch a lot of stuff, then try to remember where it was when you watch the next episode.
I watched a clip from Slime the other day, and I remembered why you need to continue it. So, please.
It's on our list to, like, we saw season 2 part 1. We need to watch season 2 part 2.
So he's with the kids at that point, right? He should be training the kids in the city at that point, and then his town should be visited by some unexpected, unpleasant.
Yeah. He had come back. He was I think Rimuru was just becoming a demon lord when I left off.
So, did you witness the mass execution that he pulled?
I think I did, but I don't remember. It's because it's been a bit.
Okay.
And I've seen so much anime since then. Plus, everything on the mind of a new job and moving, and
because I think it was
daughter started school.
Congratulations, and I'll pray for you.
Let me put it to you this way: as a parent, there's no weirder feeling when your only child starts her first day of school. And I am so grateful that my scheduling allowed me to have the day off where I could be at the bus stop to put her on the bus for the first time for her first day of kindergarten and take her off the bus. So that was a very special thing for me.
I have either a video recording for my first day of school getting on the bus, or at least a picture. I think I don't remember which, but I'll tell you what, my one of my co-managers this week was her daughter's first week of school, because you know how they start the kindergartners a couple days after the regular kids.
Yeah.
She is, after just 1 or 2 days of school, she is already out for the next 8 days because of pink eye.
Oh God.
Uh,
And
And
John
the
in the chat.
doctor,
Oh,
sorry, and the doctor tried to put her out, but she goes on vacation next week, and she's like, no, they will kill me because she's fine. But she said her child's doctor tried to put her out, but she's like, but there's nothing wrong with me. So why are you trying to put me out?
yeah. In the chat room, John Knight says tomorrow is voice actress Morgan Laura Garrett's birthday. She's the voice of Yabeluna in High School DxD. Red
Who?
Current, Yubelluna.
Yuba Luna. I think she was one of the fallen angels,
Red Current
or
in
was she one of the devils?
Red Current in Ancient Magus's Bride, Queen Mary in Show by Rock, and Yoel Yumina's Belfast in Smartphone. Spoiler, one of his wives.
That's right. She was in Riser Phoenixes. Okay, so season 1.
So happy birthday to Morgan Garrett tomorrow. A lot of good roles there. And for once, John, you put a voice actor up and named characters in every show I've actually seen. I can't say that for everyone you put up there, but you chose 4 shows that I have seen all 4. And have thoroughly enjoyed all 4. As I've said many times, Smartphone is kind of one of those guilty pleasure shows for me. It's not a great show. Season 2 definitely was better than season 1, and I would go back and rewatch it.
You think they'll have a season 3? Because I
Yes.
didn't finish season 2.
Yes, they leave the storyline that they build up in season 2. They don't finish. I'll say that much. And knowing that there was a few different storylines that developed in season 2, I'll let you figure out which ones may or may not have finished and continue on. Because a lot of interesting developments came in season 2 of that. I still don't think Angela would enjoy it. I don't think it would be her cup of tea. But that's definitely one I think, Darren, you should finish up on.
I think I only have like maybe an episode or 2, if even. Because one of the last episodes I saw, he found another one of the gardens, and they weren't even the guards weren't even trying anymore.
Yeah. And there's Angela just sitting patiently waiting for something to talk.
painfully, actually. Ross says in the chat, before the show ends, update on my sister in North Carolina. Started having contractions this week, but is not in labor and supposed to be due on the 25th of September.
Awesome.
Here's to hoping, Ross, that it is a safe delivery.
Yes.
And no complications. And congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah. And here's praying for a happy and healthy baby. As somebody who grew up swearing they'd never have kids, and then to have a daughter of my own, it's definitely a blessed feeling, especially in my situation where, as I've said before, my daughter is the only blood relative I've ever known, which is really weird to say. But I've been thankful to have been raised by a wonderful family. They are my family, so
Mario, have a wonderful night, and Doug, same deal. I have yet to physically meet any of my biological blood relatives.
Mario, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully, we get to see you again next week. I think I'd be able to make the show again next Sunday.
Mario,
Possibly.
Mario, someday, we'll meet face to face and have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, Mario, if Darren, Angela, and I can agree on a convention next year to have our 10th anniversary special at, why don't you come and try? Why don't you see if you can try to make it out to the States and be our guest on the live show? If we figure everything out, I think that would be epic.
That would be amazing.
Darren might even share his documakras with you.
But no, on a serious note, Darren, now that you're awake,
oh Lord,
thoughts on a convention that all three of us could realistically get to next year to do the 10th anniversary show and doing it as a live panel.
I don't know. That is a great question. Because Boston would probably be the closest for the three of us, but that harbors on contingencies, obviously. Otacon's not that far away. I would love to have y'all. I would love to have y'all down here for Anime-Zing, since I have 2 empty rooms.
And for me, you already know that that's a drive I can make in a day to get down there.
Yep, because you've already
Angela
done it.
would probably
twice.
fly.
That would be a Doug. We time it appropriately so you pick me up at the airport.
That'd work.
The airport out here and drive down with me, or
Irrelevant. I was thinking Raleigh, but I was thinking Raleigh, so I don't have to spend that many hours in a car. But either way works.
And then, Ange, while you're here, you can go visit your friend over there.
What I'll probably instead do is tell her to come to Anime-Zing, and because she's 2 of her 4 kids are actually into anime.
There you go.
and so of course, my daughter's into anime.
Of course.
But if we did Anime-Zing, either A, Doug, I'd fly to you, and then we do the drive down, and then I fly home from Raleigh, or B, I just do the to and from Raleigh, and you guys pick me up.
Well, the nice thing about RDU in downtown Raleigh is that you're about 15, 20 minutes away, if even, from the airport. So you're not terribly far off.
And Ross in the chat says, one last thing to mention anime-wise, an anime for Doug that always loves floofy floof stuff. An anime in the winter is coming of a girl who gets reincarnated into a little girl that loves animal with furs.
Fluffy Paradise.
Fluffy Paradise. Have you heard of that one?
Nope.
I saw it when we were scrolling through the list, like a rapid fire, quick scroll. Yeah, you missed us doing a what's coming up because reasons.
What's coming up because we're talking about is there too much anime, and then we just ran through a bunch of titles of stuff coming out in winter.
And the answer is yes.
And okay, I found it. It's an adventure fantasy slice of life. Okay, that screams me right there. Isekai Reincarnation by Studio EMT Squared.
Okay.
And based off a light novel.
That's
light novels are always the. Did you say fall or winter?
Winter. Estimated January 2024.
Oh, look, more Classroom of the Elite. More Mashal. Good job.
But you know what, Ange will be all over that.
Of course. I'll
Mashal
be
was fun.
I'll be over the Dangers in My Heart.
Now, I've got to find it again here. One thing that I thought was hysterical is, we're getting more Fooly Cooly. And the Fooly Cooly that's coming out is done by Studio Nut. Is there any better combination than a studio named Nut putting out Fooly Cooly?
No.
I'm like, that just fits. Or no, Fooly Cooly wasn't. That says Mont Blanc Pictures. Where was the one that I saw was done by Studio Nut?
Was it Fully Cooly Grunge?
No, that's the one that I just found.
Oh.
And Fooly Cooly Grunge says Mont Blanc Pictures. Or no, maybe it wasn't Fooly Cooly.
Oh, now I've got to find it because
I made a comment about it.
you did, and I remember this.
Oh, I just found my winter show that I forgot about. Ooh. Wow, that's going to be an interesting one.
Wait a minute. Was that a fall or a winter one where it was Studio Nut?
I don't remember. There we go, Nut. Saga of Tanya the Evil. Oh, Fooly Cooly Alternative. And Shoegaze. So it was some Fooly Cooly stuff.
It was just the wrong one.
It was just the wrong one. But a studio named Nut producing Fooly Cooly stuff. Makes sense. But on that note, I hope everybody has a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Be safe out there. Be smart. If you're drinking, please don't drive. Instead, stay home and watch anime.
Yeah,
Everybody,
and take shots whenever certain things in said anime happen.
Everybody have a wonderful, safe Labor Day weekend. What's left of it. Enjoy the time off if you got it. And see y'all next week.
And in true fashion of Labor Day, I will probably be working tomorrow.
Same
Manual
here.
labor.
Yep. Well, my radio station used to play this Happy Labor Day weekend, or as landscapers like to call it, day.
Absolutely, Ross. We'll look forward to hearing about Comic-Con.
Definitely. Look forward to hearing about Comic-Con. Like I said, unfortunately, I'm not able to make CCE this year. I have the time off, but financial responsibilities dictate that I should focus on other things rather than attending the convention, which we really would have loved to, but feasibly probably not the smartest decision.
But that sounds too adultish.
We're adults with
adults.
lives and expenses.
And when we spend stupidly, we end up sitting in a hotel room for who knows how long with $3 in their bank account. So spend foolishly, paying bills. Adulting. Until next week, everybody have a wonderful week out there. Be safe. Enjoy the animes. And Ross, let us know how the Comic-Con goes. Until then, this has been Anime-Zing Radio right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Have a good night.